Todd Caltagarone, Sheriff of Elk County. Well, prior to becoming the sheriff, I was the chief of police of the city of St. Mary's. But if I could back up, I'll give you kind of a path that my career followed. Is that I, upon leaving the military, the Air Force, I finished the police academy at Indiana University of Pennsylvania. And subsequent to that, I accepted a position with St. Mary's Borough. Now, it wasn't that easy in terms of you just don't accept the position. They are competitive in that most police positions require a written examination, an oral examination, a physical agility test, background investigation, psychological investigation, and of course you have to have medical clearance, and a drug screen. So after all that, I was offered the position and I accepted it. Subsequent to that, I put in something like 26 and a half years. I served St. Mary's area. The last 12 of those as the chief of police of St. Mary's, and the last year I actually helped co-manage the city while I was also performing the chief of police duties. And during the course of the career, you pretty much have to stay abreast with all the required training and additional trainings, so you maintain your core competencies for the job. Those would include things like criminal investigations, interview and interrogations, fire investigations, and all those things that go with the job, vehicle crash investigations. And then also the formal education is something that's important to keep up on. Subsequent to my service with St. Mary's, I ran for office for the Sheriff of Elk County, and I've been serving in this position for about 3 years. I took office here on January 4th of 2016 is when I was sworn in. Difference between the two jobs there is this is an office where you're elected in an office, and that there it's an appointment. A particular challenge that we've been facing here recently, obviously in the last several years, is the opioid epidemic, or the overall drug crisis. And there are a lot of different substances out there that are abused, but the opioids are the killers. And we've been working very hard, myself, in terms of this office, the Office of the District Attorney, and Alcohol and Drug Abuse Services, to do what we can to bring information to the public, educate the public, and get unused medications off the streets. Because those are another part of it, the prescription medications. And when you look at the data on that, it's quite striking. I mean, you go back to, I'm going to say 2014, 2015, in terms of the prescriptions that were dispensed, specifically the opioid prescriptions. Pennsylvania was the ranked number 6 in the United States in terms of those prescriptions that were dispensed. In 2016, we improved to the 26th in the country. Yet there were 88 prescriptions dispensed for every 100 people. It's still quite a bit. But when you look at the data in terms of the opioid overdose deaths, the period from 2015 to 2017, we saw that rate go from 23 per 100,000 to 46 per 100,000 in Pennsylvania, which is a 65% increase. What's distressing is during that same period, Elk County experienced a 133% increase in opioid overdose deaths. So that's something front and center that we are attacking and working on as much as we can, and we do that through a number of ways. As I pointed out, one of the ways is the collecting and destroying the unused medications. We began doing that in September of 2016, and since that time we've collected and destroyed had destroyed around 1,800 pounds. But that's a collaboration with all the law enforcement agencies, the Attorney General's office, and the Pennsylvania National Guard. So we have these drug boxes in all the law enforcement agencies, and quarterly we collect those. They're secure, they're bolted down, they're under surveillance, confidentiality is taken care of there. And then we collect those and then weigh them, tag those in, and every 3 months the National Guard comes with the contingent from the Attorney General's office, and they reweigh and we transfer them to them, and then they take them and destroy them. And of course we have medication-assisted treatment, Alcohol and Drug Abuse Services is providing different services and educational and prevention on this. And Pennsylvania has a lot of initiatives going with the prescription monitoring program and limiting the number of opioid medications that can be dispensed at any given time. There's a lot going on there. So we're trying to get a handle on this through a number of different ways. But right now, methamphetamine is out there. It seems to be taking the lead out there in the illicit drug world. But again, the opioids are the ones that are causing the deaths. And the other thing, we have now since Act 39 of, or 139 of 2014, the ability for first responders to obtain and administer Narcan, which is the reversal drug. And that has been done in Elk County, and overdose deaths have been reversed with that drug. So we keep putting our best foot forward and doing everything we can to make Elk County a healthier and safer place to live. Well, I would guess at the end of the day, if we can make somebody's life a little bit better, make Elk County a better place to live, that's something to feel good about, because it is about service and doing what we can to keep people safe and again, just improve their lives and their quality of life in all the neighborhoods. Well, I would say follow your heart's desire. Pursue what you love with all your might. Don't let anybody talk you out of it. Knowing if you pursue something in this career field, you will find that you will be talking about it as a way of life, because that's what it will become. And take advantage of every training opportunity that you can. Expand your formal education, if possible. That way you will be most effective in serving and protecting people. And remain humble. Well, we use multiple skills, many of them simultaneously. Really, it's important to be a broad thinker in terms of things. Naturally, communication in terms of listening, written communication, oral communication is important. Problem solving, decision making, basic leadership skills. And this is why the education piece and increasing your training and core competencies are important. Naturally, there are things that we have on a schedule here in the sheriff's office. Court security is one of those. Transporting prisoners from prison to prison, or to a medical facility, or to a court proceeding is one of them. We issue license to carry permits on a daily basis, and other license for people that we're required to do. For example, a precious metal license would be one. Protection from abuse orders come down, we have to serve those. But at any given time, there's a number of things, but at any given time, priorities can shift. And you have to be able to adapt to those changing circumstances, especially if a crisis or an emergency arises. And even in some of those things that I just mentioned, like for example, real estate sales or personal property levies and sales. Sometimes there are some unique circumstances that require us to go to the books and look at the text of the law and determine how to solve those problems. So oftentimes we spend time researching so that we properly apply the law in a given circumstance. Probably the rural nature of the area. It's good at the end of the day to go home, kick off your shoes, put up your feet, have a cup of coffee, and reflect on what occurred during the day. Also the culture of the area. The people here are generous, they're kind, and they're overcomers. So it's a good place to be. You want to live in a positive environment rather than a negative environment. So this place offers all of it.